Hey, Carm here. Now let's talk about stolen catalytic converters. Interesting, huh? It's a subject and opportunity that you need to understand. I'm sure you know of someone who's lost a converter. Now, prices of precious metals are constantly changing. Some are worth more than others, and some metals which happen to be part of CAT converters is one of the reasons converters get stolen. These stolen converters are then sold to black markets, which is $1 billion industry right now. I'm with Peter Nielson, who has information, insights, and answers on stolen converters. Hey, I need 4 minutes of your time. I've got a survey that I'd like you to take. You only need 4 minutes to help me help you. We are 5 years in, consistently presenting podcasts each week with over 800 plus episodes and 450 hours of content. Now, please go to remarkableresults.biz/survey or find a link on my homepage. And I thank you ahead of time for this. One of my supporting partners of the podcast is Napa Auto Care. And as you know, Napa Expo has been officially rescheduled. It'll be February 1st through the 4th, 2021. Las Vegas will be painted blue and gold, I'm sure, as Team Napa puts on the fabulous event that was planned prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. Napa wants to thank everyone for understanding the event postponement, and they send well wishes to you and your families. Rest assured, Team Napa is as energized and invested as ever in Napa Expo, and we look forward to hosting you February 2021. Hey, here's a taste of a great interview on the CAT converter black market with Peter Nielson.
I was actually contacted by a defense attorney out of New York wanting to know more about catalytic converter theft because he was on the defense for somebody who had been stealing catalytic converters. He's going, man, I don't know if this guy has a hope and a prayer because the amount of converters this person had been caught with was just astronomical.
Hello, hi, cheerio, good day. It's Carm Capriato here, the Aftermarket Podcast Guy with Peter Nielson, who shares his knowledge on stolen catalytic converters. There is a company that sells a shield that helps protect or frustrate thieves. Peter says the Prius is one vehicle that has a high incidence of stolen converters. Recently in my hometown newspaper, there was a story on this very topic. Hey, did you know that along with my friend Tom Ham, we've started a weekly aftermarket magazine show? It's a video event. Go to aftermarketweekly.com and watch the first 5 episodes. Tell me what you think. You now have a weekly magazine video covering topics that are intended to spark your thoughts and create change. Speaking of change, the big feature is a shop tour each week where you can learn stuff. We broadcast live every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time and repurposed at aftermarketweekly.com. Please join us. Listen in this interview with Peter Nielson, what the cost of an ounce of palladium goes for in China, also the number of replaced converters in San Francisco, and more on this black market phenomena. I'm not sure how you listen, but the majority of you do listen mobile. And if you aren't listening on a mobile device, download a free listening app at remarkableresults.biz/listen. There you will find links to Apple or Google Podcasts, among others. Enjoy the insights wherever you go. Find the key talking points for this interview with Peter Nielson at remarkableresults.biz/E545. A warm welcome to Peter Nielson from Certified Auto Consulting. Good to have you here, Peter.
Thank you.
So you're an author and a writer for TorqueNews. How'd you get into that?
Interesting story. I started working on hybrid vehicles, started learning a lot about them, and found some Facebook groups that I started getting involved in. And one of the administrators for the Toyota Prius Owners Club on Facebook reached out to me. He happens to be the chief editor for TorqueNews. He reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to write for us? And I said, absolutely. It's been a goal of mine to find a place where I can write and share my thoughts and my wisdom and skills. So
cool. Right place at the right time, huh?
Yes.
Good for you. Now, the reason you're here is to talk about catalytic converters and this incredible black market that exists from people that are stealing them. When you contacted me and I said, I don't know if it's a story. Well, like about a few days later, this article comes out from our Buffalo News here in the town that I live in. Buffalo police probe catalytic converters stolen from vehicles. And I read this article and I said, got to have Peter on. We got to talk about this. So you're here, but upfront and very transparent, you represent a company called Cap City Muffler that makes a device called Cat Security. So obviously you're not here to promote that, but we're really here to talk about the fact that the stealing catalytic converters is a real thing in a multi-billion-dollar industry. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
The best thing I can think about is that there's precious metals in there, or is it that the aftermarket or the OE pricing on converters is just like way the hell up there?
It's a combination of both, Carm, and most of these thieves that are stealing them have realized how densely packed the precious metals are inside of the Prius Cat converters, which is why they're such a hot target.
Are they taking the converters, Peter, to take out the precious metals or to sell them in a, if you will, a black market?
Scrap. I recently sold one that was bad off of a Generation 2 Prius that I had. And in talking with those recyclers, they're very hesitant to take just any catalytic converter from anybody. Reason being is because the precious metal prices have jumped around so much that, you know, if somebody's just trying to make a quick buck, the police will come to them and say, well, where did you get this catalytic converter from? And it really does have to do a lot with the fluctuation of the price of palladium, which China has been wanting palladium for some reason a lot more recently. So the higher that palladium price has climbed, we've seen a huge increase in the theft of these catalytic converters.
Got it. Where are we now? Where's palladium priced?
Last I checked, which was a couple months ago, it was over $2,000 an ounce.
I have to tell you a really funny side story. Back when The Sopranos was on, one of the things that the TV show was talking about was a black market of catalytic converters. And I said to myself, So all of this stuff is really interestingly coming to play in my mind. So you're out on the West Coast, am I right, Peter?
That is correct.
Lots of stuff going on. The whole West Coast has a ton of Priuses. Is it true that the Prius converters are hot?
That is very true, particularly Generation 2 Prius, for a couple of reasons. Number one, they have two separate converters on there, which are very densely packed converters. And number two, they are incredibly easy to take off.
Got it. And I was reading this article, and it says, you know, when you had a converter cut off because the engine sounds like a truck when you turn on the car, I lost my converter. A very, if you will, entrepreneurial individual that owns Cap City Muffler says, hey, we need to make a stainless steel protection device. Is that what this is all about?
So the story behind the Cat Security Shield came about where the owner ran the muffler shop, a very high-performance muffler shop, but he started doing catalytic converters as an additional source of income. And he had a lady come in that had her catalytic converter stolen. He got a new one on there for her at the tune of $2,500 between the oxygen sensor, the catalytic converter, and the installation. And it really hurt her financially, really bad. Not a few weeks later, this lady came back in crying because she'd had her catalytic converter stolen again. It was at this point where the owner knew there needed to be something done about it. And so when he had the vehicle up in the air, replacing the converter for a second time, he decided to come up with a shield that would cover the easy to remove areas. So it covers the as far back as you can and as far forward as you can without compromising any of the vehicle's existing features. So it's very genius.
And is it designed per vehicle?
Yes, that's what is really good about it. There are a lot of universal products on the market, but the reason Cat Security is so good is because it's a tailored fit, and it takes a lot of time to remove one once it's on there.
Where does insurance fit in this?
You know, the owner and I have talked a lot about trying to reach out to insurance companies, and insurance companies would be fools not to give their customers a discount for having this on their Prius. Because if an insurance company has to pay out a catalytic converter replacement, that can cost them anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 or more, depending on the generation of Prius. And for a simple couple $100 to get a security shield on your Prius, that's going to save that car from being totaled potentially.
Hey, it's Carm to talk to you about how telematics can benefit your Napa Auto Care Center. Now, thanks to Napa's recent partnership with CarVantage, it's easy for you to connect with your customers and help to eliminate their stress over car care. The CarVantage program lets you message customers directly on their smartphone about any action they need to take, and it's all done automatically based on their car's actual health and mileage. It works like this. You provide customers with a CarVantage sensor that plugs into their vehicle and then connects via Bluetooth to their mobile phone. Then the CarVantage dashboard allows you to set up automated marketing campaigns that target customers based on specific triggers, like when they're approaching their next maintenance interval, for example, or whenever a check engine light is detected. Customers, well, they'll receive a mobile push notification and or email when they meet the criteria you specify. You can encourage them to schedule a service or send a coupon relevant to the problems they're experiencing. Now, to make an appointment at your shop, all the customer has to do is select the service, a time, and a date. CarVantage even sends you a snapshot of the vehicle's health prior to the vehicle's appointment so you can plan for the visit. Customers love CarVantage. It gives them peace of mind and the best experience in the market. Plus, CarVantage is free to them. And for you, a special offer, only for Napa Auto Care Centers, lets you give CarVantage a try at a very affordable price. And it even includes free sensors. Other plans and enhancements are also available. Even more important, CarVantage helps you increase customer retention and customer spend. Talk to your servicing Napa Auto Parts store to find out more about what CarVantage can do for your business, plus the hundreds of other things the Auto Care program has to offer. We're always living in a world where we find an issue, we come up with a product or a genius idea. And I did not know that this existed until, we talked. And then to see the kind of thievery that's going on out there. I mean, are there pockets of it? I mean, is it particular neighborhoods or cities that you guys see an awful lot of converter thefts?
Where the owner lives in California, he sees a lot of it around there. There are 172 Toyota dealers just in the state of California. And one of the dealers that he works closely with is Toyota of San Francisco, which actually has 2 dealerships. Within those 2 dealerships, we did some numbers for the past 3 months. And this is all during COVID. During February, there were 252 converters that were replaced at the tune of $3,000. March, there were 173, and then in May, there was another 153. And mind you, this is one dealership in a high target area.
So as we all look for additional services to add to our companies, our shops, this looks like one to me, even though I may be in the mid section of our country in the Midwest where maybe there's not that many hybrids or Priuses, but still in all, should it matter what type of vehicle it is? Shouldn't we be offering a service to protect the converter from being stolen as it is? And again, let me go back to this whole insurance thing. Won't insurance cover that?
From talking to a few owners that have had their catalytic converter stolen, some deductibles will cover the replacement. And some insurance companies will simply total the vehicle because you'll go get a quote from the Toyota dealer. The catalytic converter replacement is going to be about $3,000 on a Gen 2. It can be up as high as $5,000 on a Generation 3. And, that can definitely outweigh the entire value of the vehicle. And so then, a perfectly good vehicle can go to scrap.
Yeah, a vehicle that I have no payments on. It's depreciated all the way down. I'm loving this vehicle, and now I have to be totaled and figure out what to do for my next vehicle. So there's no doubt that the financial burden on the consumer and or the insurance company is a real thing. I mean, we kind of just talked about that. Anything else to add?
From speaking with a few people that have had their catalytic converter stolen, especially that first person that had hers stolen, that cost her over $5,000. That, for somebody who's living in a high rent area in California, who's probably barely making it as it is, that's a pretty devastating blow. I'm sure that wiped out all of her savings or maxed out a credit card. And to set somebody back like that financially is it's brutal. And once the owner saw what this was doing to people, that's why he's pushed so hard to get people to know about the product, because it's the best theft deterrent that you can get for your Prius right now. It really is.
If you're talking about $300, $400, $500, I don't know what the unit costs, and it really doesn't matter, but it sounds like a very inexpensive insurance policy, especially like I see this article from our newspaper that says there's this particular neighborhood in Buffalo that there were these rash of stolen converters, like all within like a week. Now that would almost send up a red flag for a local shop saying, hey, look, what's going on. For very, very little money, we can put this protection device on your vehicle. I kind of like that. So that's how shops can help, right?
Yes. And it's funny that you mention a little side story here. I was actually contacted by a defense attorney out of New York wanting to know more about catalytic converter theft, because he was on the defense for somebody who had been stealing catalytic converters since 2018. And we had a good chat about that. And he's going, man, I don't know if this guy has a hope and a prayer, because the amount of converters this person had been caught with was just astronomical.
You'd be a great prosecution witness, I bet, rather than the defense, right?
We have tentatively been asked to be expert witnesses in that case. So that might be a topic for future.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, listen, I so enjoy this short, sweet, to the point. Peter Nielson, Certified Auto Consulting, as you continue to work with the Cap City Muffler, who makes the CAT security device. Thank you so much for sharing an unbelievable topic here that I think we all have to pay attention to.
I definitely think so. And, in the end, it's all about taking care of the consumer, making sure that people are safe and protected. And that's really what their company is about. So,
thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Carmen.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time.